Blossom and Thrive with me.
I was already an adult when I first heard the quote that the quality of your life is built on the quality of your choices or decisions. I said, "Hey, why didn't they teach us enough of these choice issues as teenagers?" Growing up, we are given a very simple recipe for life. We are told to be a good boy, be a good girl, study hard, and you will succeed. For us then, those two tools was all we felt we needed for the kind of success we actually expected in life. So for many parts, we studied and we tried to be good. But in retrospect, and after working with so many young people for several years now, I've come to the conclusion that life is not that very simple and shouldn't be taught with that simple format. Every young person that actually wishes to succeed in life, yes, we have to study hard, live right, but ensure that you go beyond that point. Now, let me ask you a question. If studying hard and being good is enough, why do some good students still struggle later in life? And why do some people who did everything right still end up confused, stuck, and unfulfilled? Here is the truth many young people are not usually conscious of. Being good as a student and studying hard does not automatically lead to a good life. Several young people do not fail because they were bad. No. They fail because they were not taught how to make the right choices consistently. Today, we are not talking about good or bad choices. We are talking about the options that are usually presented by life. How to make the best of the options we have in life. And for these choices, you need to be skilled in the act of choosing to consistently choose the right one. That's why life is really not just about being good. It's about who is influencing you, what you believe, what you know, and how you choose. So today, my young friend, I'm going to show you a very strong pillar that can help guide your decisions, help you to choose right most of the time. But before we go into that, listen to this story. I once heard a true story about twin sisters who grew up in Onitsha in southeastern Nigeria. Their parents were wealthy traders in the busy Onitsha main market. These parents were not formally educated, but they worked hard and gave their children good life. These twin girls were the last in the family and the only daughters after 3 boys. Because they were twins, they did almost everything together. They went to the same school, wore the same clothes, had the same circle of friends while growing up. They looked so identical that people could hardly tell them apart. And one more thing, they were both very good girls, well-behaved, respectful, and focused. But something began to change when they entered their senior secondary school years. A woman moved into their compound. Her name was Janet. Everyone called her Auntie Janet. Auntie Janet was calm, wise, and a secondary school teacher. One of the twins, Ifeoma, began to spend time with her. She would sit with Auntie Janet asking questions, reading self-improvement books on her shelves, talking about life, and even following her to church. Auntie Janet began to mentor her. She taught her about the future. She gave her books to read. She helped her understand that life is full of choices, and those choices matter and must be made carefully. Slowly, Ifeoma began to see life differently. She became more intentional, became more focused. She started choosing her friends carefully, and she began to dream of the future. She decided to become a pharmacist. But her twin sister Chinwe didn't pay much attention to all of that. She wondered why her sister should be enjoying an older woman's company. For her, it made little sense. Chinwe was still a good girl. She studied well like her sister, but she mostly spent her free time with friends, chatting, moving around, and just being teenagers. Then secondary school ended, and both twins had good results, though Ifeoma's result was outstanding. Both girls emerged from secondary school as young, beautiful 18-year-olds with so much potentials ahead of them. At this point, life stood before them, full of options. And this is where the difference began. Ifeoma understood that she needed to choose carefully. Her heart has been guided for the chose to continue her education. She prepared, wrote her exams, and gained admission into Nnamdi Azikiwe University to study pharmacy. But Chinwe saw something else. Some of her close friends were getting married. These were girls she had spent most of her time with. She attended her best friend's wedding, and something changed. Men were literally begging to marry her. Everyone was talking about how good and beautiful she was. She began to feel that maybe that was her next step too. So instead of choosing school, she chose marriage and got married. It was a huge celebration. The husband was a big oga in Onitsha main market. Their parents were happy and felt very proud. Fast forward 15 years later, Ifeoma became a successful pharmacist, married, had children, and living a very stable life. But Chinwe's story became very different. Her husband's business collapsed, and she had no way of supporting the family since she had neither post-secondary school certificate nor skill. So today, Chinwe and the husband struggle to care for their 6 children with very limited opportunities. So welcome back. We've heard the story. Same sisters, same parents, same environment, same upbringing, same level of goodness, good results, yet 2 different outcomes in life. Why? Well, the answer is very simple. Their choices and what guided their choices was not what made all the difference. The difference was not their background or level of goodness, because they were both good girls who studied and passed their exams. The difference was in what was guiding the choices they made. There are several pillars every young person needs to build to guide his or her choices in life. But today, we are looking at the pillar of guidance. You see, every young person is being guided in life. So the question today is not, am I being guided? Yes, you are being guided. The question is, who is actually guiding me? From our story, Ifeoma had a guide. And who was it? Auntie Janet. Auntie Janet bonded with her, taught her about values, taught her about life, made her to think, made her to dream proper dreams, and made her see the limitless potentials she had within her. And so when it was time to choose, when life presented its options, she was able to make the best choice. And what about Chinwe? She also had a guide. Of course, she did. Like I said, everybody has a guide. So, but her guide was more of her friends. And of course, her friends were just like her. They were young people living in the moment. You see why, even though we must keep our friends, we mustn't let them become our guide in life. So you see, the voice you listen to consistently will eventually become the life you live. Yes. Some voices push you towards growth. They make you go out of your shell. They make you want to try new things. But some other voices will quietly pull you away from your potentials. Usually you won't realize it, but it happens calmly, quietly, and comfortably sometimes. That's why one of the most important decisions you need to take as a teenager is to select the voices that speak into your life. Not just as a teenager, as a young person, even as an adult. Select the voices that speak into your life. Every young person needs someone who is ahead that can speak into their lives. And this is what is called mentorship. Yes, but before you get worried and begin to ask yourself, where do I get mentorship from? Yes, a mentor is anyone who is ahead of you in the race of life. It could be an intentional parent. When you're talking about an intentional parent, there are parents who are knowledgeable, who actually know how to guide their young ones. And so what do you do as a young person? You've got to listen. Listen to your parents. Listen to what they say, how they try to guide you. A mentor could also be a teacher. A mentor could be a pastor, a priest. A mentor could be your school counselor. A mentor could be an older sibling. A mentor could be just someone who already has gone to the place you desire to go. The place, the person you desire to become. Someone who has already become such. It's a mentor. Summary, a mentor has to be someone who is more educated, more knowledgeable, positive, open-minded, someone who believes in the limitless potentials available in every human being. You may ask why this pillar is powerful. It is because as a young person, you actually fantasize a lot about life. You see life from your own angle. And that's why you may be seeing happily ever after with a partner who has very severe character issues, character flaws. But for a mentor, it sees beyond your fantasy, because a mentor has made mistakes, has learned lessons, has seen and suffered consequences probably, has taken lots of decisions in the past, and can easily tell you which will work out well and which wouldn't. Good mentors see the gold in you even before you see it. They guide you beyond school grades. A good mentor will help you build the pillar of principles, which is the second pillar that ensures a young person is able to consistently make the right choices. Sometimes a mentor's advice may not sound exciting and good. They may not make you feel happy and, comfortable. Wise counsel may not make you feel, the way the counsel of friends make you feel. But then it's important you sit and take it in. Very often, the wisdom of a wise mentor can save you the mistakes that could cost you years. Being in mentorship is one sure way of thriving in life. Yes, it is. Please, don't trivialize it. Why will you want to figure out life in tears when someone can actually hold your hands and help you avoid the pitfalls? All it takes are listening ears and obedient heart to take in the wisdom of someone who has gone before you. I once read a research report which says that teens with strong supportive adults are more likely to succeed academically, more likely to make responsible decisions, less likely to engage in harmful behavior. Just being good and studying hard may not get you out of some messy life decisions. For instance, focusing on just your physics, chemistry, English, and maths, and not trying to learn what adults have to teach you about life can't save you from a messy relationship. No, it won't. You will have great heartaches even though you know physics and maths. It won't also teach you things about finance. It won't help you to make your first million at a young age. The mentorship can guide you through these real life situations. So what am I saying, you may ask? What I'm saying today is very simple. Study hard, yes, real hard. I mean, your school books, yes, you've got to study. Be a good boy or girl. Stay away from evil. But for you to proceed and succeed in life, you must have to get yourself a mentor or mentors, especially if you can't have such in your immediate caregivers. You need a strong, positive voice that will always speak into your life. Attend seminars. Yeah, I'm still an undergraduate in the university, and all you do is study. You don't talk about attending leadership seminars, going to conferences, learning outside your lectures. No, that's not good enough. Attend seminars, go to conferences, go to leadership academy workshops, and everything and anything that can actually help you to positively learn about life. From learning from people you actually see, you also read books. Yes, great books, self-improvement books written by great people. You know, in addition to your Bible, we will talk about the pillar of faith. It's a pillar we'll still deal with. Read great books written by great people. Try to study the life of those people. It's not about your normal TikTok influencers twerking and shake. No, listen to people online that are making sense. Positive people, wholesome people, if you know what I mean. There are people that are not really wholesome, you know. Listen to wholesome people, positive people that know what it takes to positively succeed in life. This will help to equip you to actually succeed in real life. It will also eliminate or at least limit the number of bitter experiences you will have, because of course everyone will at one time or the other make a wrong choice. But if you have mentorship in your life, it will limit the number of wrong choices you will make. Finally, I want you to consider these questions. Who are the top 3 persons? The top 3 persons influencing your choices, your decisions, and your life. 2, are these people helping you to grow or just making you feel comfortable, you know, like your friends will? Do you have someone you can actually always talk to about your future? Someone you can actually tell all the truth, you know what I mean? Someone you can tell about your struggles without feeling judged, and then at the end, get some sort of help. If you don't choose your guide in life, life will choose your guides for you. Thank you for coming to the end of this video. I am Counselor Helen. a certified teens and adult counselor, passionate about helping young people thrive and find their way in life. Please, if you found any value in this video today, don't forget to subscribe, like the video so that it can go out and get to other young people. Thanks for sitting here. Even if you are a parent, remember to like and subscribe, because I also love to talk to parents about working with their teens and tweens. Thank you.
Blossom and thrive with me.